So we are back. We have returned. We do not have any guests today, but we hope to get a gubernatorial guest next week. Not next week, actually. Probably early August. Maybe the first or second week of August. So we're working on that to see if we can get a gubernatorial candidate to come on. We're excited about that. So we'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, today's show, we're going to talk about, current events, this midterm elections that's getting really, really heated up. There's some things that happen in the media that we got to talk about. Again, as you know, our show's called Race and the Races. So we talk about race. We talk about, election races. But we do it because we want to get engaged, get our Black people engaged in the political process. But we still do talk about current events. So one of the current events we're going to talk about is the Sesame Place, Sesame Street Place. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about there was some legislation, a bill that passed in North Carolina about it. Is an abortion part of the abortion bill. Crazy. Wait till we tell you about that. But in the meantime, so I'm going to introduce myself. If you are on our YouTube channel, please like, share, and subscribe. We ain't got no subscribe. Well, I think we got like 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know how many subscribers we got, but we need you to go on. We need you to go on and unmute yourself, ma'am. Unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry. We have more subscribers than some bigger organizations and stuff like that. So, I mean, we don't got a lot. We need more. We have more on our Facebook pages,
right?
Than we do on YouTube. But please check us out, y'all. Go ahead.
Sorry about that. I had to let the gate in. Okay, so we on our.
Well, I don't mean to interrupt, but I was supposed to start like, oh my God, I'm so tired. I've been like traffic all day. I'm telling you, I was just at a meeting. I had to go pick up my kid from camp. It's like all of these things that I have to do, and now I'm here. It's just a lot. It's been a long day. I've been up since 5 a.m. I've been in traffic since 2:30 this afternoon. And finally I had to get here. I'm exhausted. It is absolutely exhausting being me.
Do you know who you sound like?
I ain't calling no names about who I sound like, but I'm just trying to say I can relate to the person that was talking about how tired they was.
I'm not gonna say any names, but candidates will give you this whole long, drawn out story about things that they're doing, as if
they're acting like it's a burden for them to talk to you and they want your vote. Like what that's all you gotta do is show up every now and then, and every 6 years or so. And show up and talk to somebody for like 30 minutes for maybe another for 3 or 4 weeks. And that's hard for you to get a gig that's going to last 6 years.
It's too difficult. It's just too hard.
It's just hard, the traffic, the driving.
I digress. We're not here to talk about my long, arduous day. We're here to talk about.
I left work at 2:30. By the time I picked up the kids and made it home, it's like 5:30. It's 3 hours. I can't believe it.
I got caught in the rain.
It is so much. It's so hard.
It's just like, all that stuff that you just mentioned, women, Black women especially, that's all done before 12 o'clock. Okay.
That's third day. I've been up since 5 a.m. So I don't know what you're talking about. I'm at hour 12 right now. Okay.
So I'm just trying to understand, where's this woe is me coming from?
If all I had to do was show up for like 30 minutes for about a month to get a job that's gonna last 6 years, that's gonna pay me 6 figures. Child, please. I'd be like, yes. What else you want to know?
Okay. How long is your interviewing process? 30 minutes? All right, I'll be here on time, ready to answer your questions. But no, we got to go through a whole long laundry list
of how bad the traffic was. Mind you, we live in South Florida. That's like, okay, you ain't the only one. It's a whole bunch of people there with you. That's why the traffic was so bad.
Ma'am. So, sir, what are we doing? So, I just do not have the patience or the time for
All
people.
right, so let's get back to serious business.
All
But
right,
that was
so
kind of serious.
like,
That just let
share,
you know.
subscribe. What are we? We are the race and the races on YouTube.
On all of them, I think
On
it's
all of
racing the races. Some of them got dashes, no dashes. Because I
Okay.
think on on Instagram it's race dash the dash the race dash and dash the dash races, right?
Yes.
On Instagram. And on Twitter.
But like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends. We welcome people to come in, random people on the audience. If y'all want to talk, we welcome y'all to come in too. But we just want y'all to just, like, share, and subscribe, and join us for our conversations while we chop it up. This election season, we usually have candidates. We don't have any this week. And like I said in the beginning of the show,
but we've had a lot. So because we don't have one this week, we've had a lot. We've had a lot of
quite a bit. It's quite a bit. It's quite a bit.
And then there's some folks who are not part of the primaries, like they're on the ballot in November. So we're gonna start talking to them possibly in September, because there's no need to have a conversation with them now since they're not on the August ballot. So they're on the November ballot. So we'll pick up the interviewing again sometime in September, unless we can get this candidate that we're trying to get, like either the first or the second week in August. If that happens, we're gonna be excited.
Right. For some reason, it doesn't look like we're streaming live on Facebook. I can't find it.
Yeah, I'm looking for it too,
and I don't see it. And I know we got a notification to update our Facebook page on StreamYard, and I did that earlier.
No, it's on. I see it. I found it. You probably have to refresh your page. It's on right now.
Okay. All right. So because I'm trying to
yeah, it's on right now.
Okay, it's on right now. So okay.
Yeah. I'm about to put it on my main page.
Okay. So anyway, do you want to go into the
we introduced ourselves. I'm wearing blue because I need y'all all to vote blue. I'm rocking like a blue jacket, blue dress. It's just blue because I need y'all to vote blue. I really do.
I have my Black Girl Magic shirt on because we out here being magical.
And we always stand up and we always show up, and we need some of y'all to vote like Black women too.
Okay, yeah. If
all the right things can happen.
We are okay if you want to join like a bandwagon and join us as we go and vote in these midterms elections. We are okay with being out there helping you all along because statistics shows Black women come out in full force when it comes down to voting, because we understand how important it is. Our Black brothers and our fathers, our brothers or cousins or whatever, we taking them with us. We always do. We some of them we have to grab kicking and screaming because they don't want to stand online. But we like, listen, y'all could even sit down. We be standing on the line.
That's why you can request your vote by mail ballot. So you don't have to stand in line. You can request your vote by mail ballot. There's no standing in the line with that.
Vote by mail ballots are going to be sent out today or tomorrow. However, you should have received your new card. Well, it's not new cards, but you should have received your new voting.
Your updated voter's registration card.
Yes, not a card anymore because apparently we can't use card. They changed the thing where you can't use a card. So now the supervisor of elections sent a big, it's almost like a flyer. So it shows your new districts. If your map has changed, it shows all the information that you will need when you go to vote. And when you go to vote early, you need to just bring your an ID that has your signature on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I did get it in the mail, but that's how it actually looks the same way as they used to send it, but you had to kind of open it up and tear out the card or something like that. I didn't open it up because I knew what it was.
Oh, no, there's no more card. There's no card to tear out. So it's that whole paper. It explains what you need to do. If you need to, I think there's an option to update your signature as well, but I don't know if you still have time to do that. But
you can, because I think you can you can. I think you still can, because you have up until July the 25th to register. So if you got to update or do anything before then, you got until July 25th, which I think is next Monday or something like that. No, Monday. It's Monday. Yeah, it's Monday. It's Monday. Yeah, it's Monday. Today's already Wednesday, so it's Monday.
Yeah. So you guys got to, y'all got to jump on it now.
Come on, get with it. If you know your friends who you need to say, listen, check your registration. If you need to update it, get it right. Make sure they do it by Monday.
Y'all better get on with it. Listen, as Auntie Jennifer Lewis said, when she was getting her star on the what is it, the
Hollywood star,
Hollywood
Walk of Fame or whatever it was.
while
Yeah.
she was out there signing autographs. You know what sweet, loving Jennifer Lewis was telling everybody? She was like, you all need to vote. She was adamant about, she's like, listen, don't let my life be in vain. That's exactly the word
she said. She used a couple of choice, nice other words too.
It
but
was beautiful.
She was like, listen, y'all, stop playing.
It was beautiful, the words that she shared. But the seriousness of what she said, she's like, they will take your rights away while you sleeping. So
while you awake, they try to take your life away. So let alone if you sleep.
Y'all need to register and vote. So in the state of Florida, for Broward County, we have up until the 25th of July to make sure you're registered and you're ready to go.
Updated signature, addresses, all that.
Don't let this opportunity pass you by,
because there's a lot of great candidates that are on the ballot, is particularly on the Democratic side, and we need to vote and elect as many and as all of them as we can. We have Val Demings that's running for U.S. Senate. She's running against Marco Rubio. Vote for her. Nikki Fried or Charlie Crist, they're on the Democratic side to run against Ron DeSantis. So on the latest, August 23rd, vote for either one of those. You can early vote for them, vote by mail for one or either one of them, and hopefully when whoever comes out of that primary, everybody needs to just get behind that candidate and vote for them in order for Ron DeSantis to not be reelected. We have Ayala Aramis who's running for Attorney General against Ashley Moody, I think her name is. So we got to support that sister. She used to be she was the state attorney in Orlando this last cycle, and now Monique Worrell is the current state attorney there. So we need to support that candidacy. There we have a District 20 race. It's whole bunch of folks of color up in there. Dale Holness, our congresswoman, my congresswoman, because I do live in District 20, Sheila Sheffield McCormick, and then we have a person who most people didn't expect to be in that race, but is in that race, is Onika Omfroy is in that race. So and there might be some people on the Republican side, don't know their names. I don't know if it matters, because if a Republican wins in District 20, we should all be ashamed of ourselves, is all I'm gonna say. So pick one of those folks. The Congresswoman elect has the Congresswoman who's presently in the seat has support of Nancy Pelosi. A whole bunch of folks is supporting her candidacy. They're saying that she's doing a good job there, whatever. So if you're satisfied with what she's doing, leave her in there. If not, there she has two opponents on the Democratic side. What you think you need to do? But I ain't complaining. I don't have any complaints right now. So
I have no complaints at all. I just think that my only complaint is that we need more people. There's about almost 600,000 registered voters in terms of Democrats, and I think there's about 300 and some odd thousands of Republicans, and then we have like 300 and some odd thousand of NPAs. Although the NPAs cannot vote during the primaries, I'm just saying we have enough people to make a dent in this senator's race. We have enough people that can make a dent in this governor's race. We have enough people to make a dent in the what was that Armis's race? What's her name? The state
Attorney General.
Attorney General. Yeah. There's enough of us to make a clear voice saying what.
And when my co-host is talking about there's enough of us, she's talking about there's enough of us in Broward County alone to basically dictate what's going to happen in this state. For sure.
So I'm just saying, we can make this happen. Is either we can
we need to make this happen, because if you're paying attention just even a little bit to what's going on, it seems like the Republicans are not interested in democracy anymore, and they're literally looking to have some sort of totalitarian government or whatever. That they were out here calling Democrats socialists last election cycle in 2020, but they're over here acting like dictators and totalitarians. So I don't think you want to, if you got a choice, you would rather exist in a socialist society where you at least gonna have all your needs met. Now, if you got some sort of totalitarian or a dictator running, you ain't got no choices in that situation, and they actually don't care how you feel or what you got or what you need and all that kind of stuff. So don't give up all this greatness that America is because some people had a dream as a kid to be a dictator, and they only worried about themselves and not everybody.
Well said. Well said. I couldn't say it better myself. And then the other thing too is, listen, take a few minutes to really look up some of the candidates, right? Take a few minutes to see if their ideology matches with your ideology. Because one thing we all should understand is that when we vote someone in, they work for us, right? And so you want to be able to, if you have your own business, just think about having your own business, and you want to hire like-minded people, people who want to see your business flourish, people who want to grow with you, right? And so they, many times you kind of want to hire somebody that shares the same ideas, shares the same ideology as yourself. So it's important that you look that up, you look that information up, see what those people were, how they've done in the past, what they've done in the past. If they are getting reelected, look at their record. If they are new on the scene, but have a professional background, check their professional background, see if this person meshes with what you believe in. For me, I'm not gonna say any names. I was rooting for somebody, and then when I realized their ideology is not the same as mine, and it was my fault, I take responsibility for not checking that information out first. I was very disappointed, and based on that information, I'm just gonna have to kind of figure out how I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna vote. My co-host posted something earlier today about not voting is
not rebellion. It's surrender.
And I thought that was an amazing quote, because she's right. Not voting is not being rebellious.
Not in this situation.
That we don't have. This is not an option. You vote or you don't vote. That's a problem. We have to. This is not up for discussion. So now I have to reevaluate, see where I'm going to go where that vote is concerned. But I think it's important that you know who you're voting for, because at the end of the day, you can't say, "Oh my God, we put you in. I can't believe that." What's the thing? Because you're an attorney. Ignorance to the law is no excuse.
Ignorance to the law is no excuse. Yeah.
I feel like ignorance to candidates is no excuse either.
Because a lot of information is available. There's a lot of information especially when they decide to take these positions, a lot more of their information becomes public knowledge, right? Yes. If you're not a person that's trying to be in the public eye, it's a lot of things people aren't going to know about you. They won't be able to find out about you. But once you decide to take on such a public position, there's a lot of information that you can find. Some of these folks end up with Wikipedia pages and all this type of stuff. So you can find out some information. So take some time to do that. I gotta go. I'm a little adjacent to what my co-host said in terms of you wanting to vote somebody that has the same ideology as you do, right? I don't have to vote for someone that necessarily has my same ideology, but what I'm not going to do is vote against my interests, right? Because there can be a candidate or a person where you kind of just don't agree on all things or many things, right?
Sure.
But at the end of the day, if I believe that the person is really going to do the right thing in a particular situation every time, they're going to be objective and they're going to do what's in the best interest of the people, then I'll vote for them. Now, if I've discovered information that makes me think that ain't going to happen, then no, I'm not going to just vote for you because I like you or, there's some part of your story that I find is interesting. What I'm more concerned about is someone that's really going to do what's in the best interest of folks and the people that elected them and put them in office. So if you can show me somehow that you can be objective and do all that, you may be able to earn my vote. But I don't think we need to be like-minded. We've had this conversation before because I have some people that some colleagues that I have that I hold in very high regard, right? But on the political side, we're not even close on the same page. And I literally have this, I just can't understand. I'm like, how you think like that, right? But because I know, we shouldn't seek for perfection in a person, and you don't look at necessarily just parts of a person to decide whether they're good or not, or all these other things about them. I know everything else I know about that person is good, and they're, will give you the shirt off their back, all that. They just make some political decisions that I'm just like, oh Lord, I don't know. You know what I mean?
I,
Because for me, it's not a non. It's because, but some people, I guess, with them, a person's political affiliation is a non-negotiable for them, and so they can't ride with you at all just because you think you have a different political persuasion. For me, that's not it. I try to look at people in their entirety, and I look at the total package and stuff like that. Now, when it comes to who I'm going to vote for, if I think voting for you is against my interests or the interests of most folks, I'm not voting for you.
right.
That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
and yeah, I agree with you to a certain degree. But I think that your ideology is a makeup of who you are. And while we take the person in its entirety, that still I feel like that those ideologies still helps people to make decisions.
It influences their decisions.
Yeah,
it can. Yeah,
it influences their decision. It's part of their their logic. And for me, when you are like a starch Republican, a person who's like extremely religious, somebody who's really into the overturning of Roe v. Wade, someone who's really into thinking that African Americans have everything in their arsenal to be the people they need to be in this country, and that using excuses and I've heard people say this, heard staunch Republicans say that using their race as an excuse as to why they can't make it. When you have that type of ideology, it's very difficult for me to kind of separate that from someone who is going to be in a position where they're making decisions for the community, and the community is a diverse community. And we have all these things in place, like implicit bias training, we have like cultural bias training, we have all these things. There's a reason why we have all these things, because some people don't see things like other people see things. But if you're going to have an ideology that tells you that those are all social constructs, and we don't really need to put too much emphasis on those things because that's not what it is. You were able to make it, so that means everybody else will able to make it. That gives me pause. So I do agree with you to a certain extent, but not. I just don't think that you can separate the two.
So all right. I mean, we could talk about this, right? So the reason why I do believe that you can separate them is because, so I have friends, when they call me, I had to learn to do this. I said, they'll ask me a question. I'm like, okay, so do you want the answer from your friend Sandra, or do you want the answer from the lawyer Sandra? Because sometimes those answers are not the same, right? Like your friend is gonna be like, oh, I feel sorry. Oh my God, that shouldn't have happened. Blah 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 blah. But then on the legal side, it'd be like, so you did wrong. You know what I mean? The answers are not the same. And I had to and one time I was talking to a friend of mine called me. She told me something. I thought she was asking me like a legal question, and she's like, well, can't you just sympathize with me? And I'm sitting there like, boy, didn't you call and ask me like a legal question? You wrong, right? And so I had to learn to, when they call and they start talking about some stuff, I'd be like, okay, so who you want to talk to? The friend Sandra, or you want to talk to the lawyer Sandra? Because from what I've heard so far, those answers going to be different depending on who it is that you're talking to, right? And if you just want me to be an ear and listen, I can. I keep secrets, you know what I mean? I keep secrets for a living, so it's okay. I'm going to let you tell me all of what you got to say. Now, if you're ready to hear what the law got to say about what you're talking about, it might not be nice. You know what I mean? It might be like a real dose of reality that you may not be in an emotional space to deal with in this moment. And so because I've had to learn to do that, just as just because of the mere fact of what I do, that's why I think that even if I believe that a judge, if they're objective, can have a case and make a decision, even though it's fundamentally against everything that they would believe in as a person. But the law says that this is what they have to do. I believe they can follow the law. That's why I say that. I think if the person can exhibit to you that about them, then I'm okay with you, being a judge, because you can be like, I don't agree with this, but the law say, But are there judges, especially the ones that are on Supreme Court right now? first of all, I think those people just absolutely just lied at their confirmation hearings. Okay, I think that's one thing to there's one thing to like. If you have a belief, and sometimes some cases are so on the edge that you really can make a decision that's consistent with maybe your personal beliefs or whatever, but it's a case that allows you to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Them people just straight up went up there and lied and said what they had to say in order for them to confirm, and they had intentions from before they even got on the court that's what they were going to do. So I do think there's a distinction between it, but I do believe as an attorney who becomes a judge, they can make decisions that may be contrary to what they believe personally or even from a religious perspective.
So and if we're gonna go based on like the type of candidates, so for judges, I tend to lean and agree with you in what you were saying, because when Judge Jackson was getting her confirmation, they were trying to tie in her beliefs with her judgment, and I understand that part. And when it comes down to judges, I completely get what you're saying, and I do agree with that. However, when we're talking about other candidates, not judicial candidates, but just, commissioners, mayors, governors, senators, I tend not to separate the two in terms of ideology, only because those candidates are allowed to say what their party affiliations are.
Yeah.
They stand by those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so and they use those ideologies to make that influences how they present their campaigns. Yeah. So with them, I have a little bit issue. With the judges, I'm willing to consider what you're saying, because I saw firsthand how they treated Supreme Court Justice Jackson in her commission and during her confirmation, and how they really tried to narrow, like stick it in on her beliefs as to how she could make. I mean, there was parts of it where they,
yeah,
especially with her race, especially with her gender, there was parts of the
they weren't even disingenuous in what they were doing, right? There was a bunch of linguistic stuff that they were doing. They was playing with words, asking people what's a woman, trying to set traps and gaslight and do all kind of stuff. Yeah, that wasn't even like fair. Like, and you know how you'd be like, well, that wasn't even fair and respectable. That was just crazy. They were literally playing for Fox News and whoever base. Yeah, the way they treated her, it was so disrespectful. It didn't even make no sense.
Yeah, and so for me, I tend to lean towards what you're saying, because when it comes to a judicial candidate, there are boundaries where they are concerned, because they are bounded by law to do things as the law presents it. So they have to follow rules. But candidates who are not judicial candidates, to me, it's important that people do find out who they are, what their affiliations are, what their track record looks like, because they literally are influenced by the party that they are affiliated with. So I think it's important. So it goes both ways, whichever, Republican or Democrat, you all, whoever you are, you have to see who kind of aligns with your ideology. But that's just my take. That's just my thing. Because when I look up stuff or whatever, I get kind of, it's kind of all or none where it was that concerned for me. All right, so
what you were saying, so I can't remember who it was who said this, but I know, like, when you talk about the candidates and their ideology and stuff like that, I remember, and somebody else might be able to say this clearer than me, but they were saying something about, like, if when you want to know where a candidate or an elected official stand, you always ask them to show you their budget, right? Like, what it is, where they put their money is what's important and where their value is, right? But there's an actual whole saying, and I was trying to think of it while you were talking, but I can't think of the entire saying, but it basically says, like, if you want to know what's important or what an elected official or whoever cares about, have them show you their budget, because where they're spending their money is like, or whatever issue they're spending their money on, that's what's important. But I'll look for it and find a direct quote, and I'm talking about it when we, the next time we have a show or whatever. But yeah, it's something like that's, if you want to know, like, what kind of candidate, especially if it's somebody that's running for re-election, Look at their budget. Look how they were spending their money. Listen, look at how they were appropriated their funds. Look at what kind of things they were doing. Look at who they supported, and then that'll tell you, that's going to speak more about who they are than any of the words that's coming out of their mouth when they come and talk to you, because they can tell you whatever. But again, particularly someone that was already in office that had to appropriate funds and do all those kind of things, look at their budget, and then I'll tell you what's important to them.
I didn't think of that. That's a great way to kind of look at to see, so you can see, and budgets, campaign budgets are public records, so you can see where they put their money.
And not only the campaign budget, so that's one, but the ones who are elected are in office, and they have access to money to do things for their constituents. The people who voted them into office, they can send money back home or do whatever. Look to see where they sending that money, how they spending it, what they doing, and that's going to tell you volumes about who they are and what their values are.
Exactly. All right, so so switching
blue, y'all. All the blue. I'm wearing blue. Please. Please. Civil player.
We have two gubernatorial candidates, Charlie Crist and Nikki Fried. Pick one. We got.
Please pick one. And then whoever comes out of August, everybody pick that one.
Yeah, that's what
we ain't talking about it no more. I don't care if y'all ain't like it. I don't care if that's not the person you supported. Fall in line.
It is what it is. Right. So I want to mention North Carolina, and we're switching gears.
We'll talk about Pennsylvania next.
Yes, we'll talk about Pennsylvania next. So we'll talk about Pennsylvania. Let's talk about North Carolina first. So North Carolina, this was on Amanda Seal's Instagram, and I'm going to pull it up so you guys can hear it. But I sent it to co-host Sandra, and I said, girl, do you know they got a whole legislation bill out there that they saying it's okay for you to kill the mama if you're trying to protect the baby from getting aborted? I was like, I'm sorry, what? This overturning Roe v. Wade has become, and we knew this was going to happen. We knew that this was going to become this massive issue in states across the country, where you have these horrific bills being created. I'm just so like, I just don't know what to say. I'm so confused how a woman's body is so controversial. Like I don't even know what to say. I just do. So let me cue this. Let me cue this up, child, because I'm trying to remember. Do I share screen? Let me cue this up, and would like to record the computer screen. Deny. So
I think once it goes on YouTube, like since it's streaming to YouTube, we got to say something about fair use or something like that. Like the person made the video public, and so we're allowed to use it.
So the video was made public by Amanda Seals, who is an actress, an activist,
and so it's fair use. Yeah.
So it's fair use. So we're gonna do that, and then once we hear what she says, we'll discuss it. Press play here. I'm hoping that you can see it.
What am I looking at right here? North Carolina Bill 158 would make it legal to murder a pregnant woman who intends to get an abortion if you are defending the life of the baby. Let those sirens alert you to the fact that this is real. North Carolina, you need to get out and you need to be voting in a very real way, because if the Republicans win the supermajority, this is the type of shit that is happening, that's going to be happening in your state, and the blood will be on your hands.
If I could insist, this might sound a little strange, but if I could insist, as long as they are legal in our nation, abortions would be done in the public square.
we are not a completely civilized people. And don't ever let the technology fool you. What am I looking at right here?
Yeah.
It don't make no sense. It doesn't make sense.
How do you reconcile? How do you
can't, because it don't make no sense. Because at the end of the day, you kill that mama, you killing the baby too. So how, like, what? Like, so even if you were trying to only so say the law says it allows you to kill the mama and you could get away with that, are you gonna get away with killing the baby who they also think is a person? Because I don't know if the law's protecting you from killing the baby, because the whole point is to try to save this baby's life. And if killing the mama is gonna kill the baby too, then it's stupid. Just like, when you was reading the woke bill to me last time, and it started off talking about individuals and stuff, and then all of a sudden they sectioned out African Americans, and I'm like, but I thought I was an individual, so how that makes sense, so please. But one of the things, go ahead.
So North Carolina, I have a question.
They don't got no answers.
Y'all voted these legislators in North Carolina.
Vote them out.
Y'all voted them in, right?
So vote them out. They don't make no sense.
I'm just trying to understand, and my task is to research that bill, find out the name of the person who sponsored that bill and the co-sponsors, because I sure will be calling their names out the next time we come on here. But it is the level of lunacy. Is that a word? Did I say that right? Lunacy, ludicrous, like ludicrous. Well, it's that level of foolery.
They crazy.
That you can say murder a pregnant person to save the child. It's like, how do you? This is so. Are we going to disembowel the fetus? Like, how does that work? Because you murder. So how do you murder a man? How do you get away with murdering a pregnant person without damaging? You can't have them both. Like, and ladies and gentlemen, this is real. It's not a fake. This is not something that people are doing just to put it out there because because we were trying to make a mockery of the overturning of Roe versus Wade. This is all true. Amanda Seales doesn't post things that are just like propaganda. She posts real things, but she researches it before she puts it on her page. And these are the type of legislations. This is not only North Carolina coming up with this legislation. There are several other states with similar legislation on a woman's body. They ain't got nothing to do with the rest of the people in the state. Like nothing. It ain't got nothing to do with, like, for instance, if somebody decides to have an abortion here, has nothing to do with me or Sandra. Like, we don't need that. Does it bother you that somebody else is making a decision on their body? Like, does it offend you? Like, I mean, even with an offense, how do you legislate offense? Being offended. Like, I don't even, anyway, I said all this, I bring this out here. We're discussing it because voting is vital, ladies and gentlemen. Voting is vital. Like, it's just
like your life is dependent on it. And we were saying this in 2020, right? And I guess people ain't believe us. That you better vote like your life depended on it. I guess they ain't believe us, right? And now here you are in a situation that you're like, wait, how this happened? It happened because y'all wasn't listening when people told y'all to pay attention in 2020 when you were voting. I mean, I have to give them credit for at least not voting for 45 to continue to be our president. So, ma'am, I give y'all props for that. But remember, it's also important. And then, the Senate and the House is blue, but Cinema and Manchin trick folks, and so it's almost like it's really still red. So that's why you have to take advantage of these opportunities that's out there to vote for the senators in these blue states. You got to keep Warnock in Georgia. You got to get Val Demings in Florida. You got to get the gentleman in Pennsylvania. I think his name is Tannenbaum or something like that. You got to vote for him in Pennsylvania. There's a Charles Booker that's in Kentucky that's running against Rand Paul. You got to put these people in office so we have a for real 51. For real 51, because we're supposed to have 50-50, but we clearly that's a joke and that ain't true. So we need to at least have a for real 51. So at least the next 2 years, some things can get done. You guys didn't take it seriously in 2020, and look where we at. Like, look where we are. Look at where we are. This is crazy. And if you don't take, and people are there seems to be talk that they think that the House is going to become red, right? That they're going to, because there's some Democrats who've decided to not run again, you know what I mean? And so that 217 or whatever the number is that they had right now, that is like being seriously threatened. So, and plus, you know, these Republicans, they got a whole bunch of folks giving them money and all this nonsense, but we need to at least send back everybody that we can and send in anyone, because what you don't want, because at least the House is passing stuff, it's just running into problems when it gets to the Senate, which we should be able to change. But if you get to the point where, like, because the stuff has to come out of the House, if it can't even get out of the House, it ain't gonna get to the Senate. So we're gonna be in the same, if not a worse situation that we're in already, right? So please take this seriously. And now, say for the folks who don't want to care as much about the federal government, right? They're like, listen, the federal government is too far from me. I'm going to worry about my state. The governor races are important also, right? Yes. So say you be like, close my ears. I don't want to listen to no federal nothing. So we need y'all to pay attention to your governors, right? Yep. Because we see what's happening. There's a conversation about some money that the Fed sent that Governor DeSantis is not distributing. I don't know enough about that to actually have that conversation yet. So once I fully understand it, I will talk about that. But basically what it comes down to is if you have a governor that don't want to do the right thing, that's going to make your state suffer, because the federal government has sent a lot of money, has tried to send money to, at least I know, the state of Florida, and we've had governors that'll be like, nah, we don't want it, and even if you send it, we ain't going to use it. And so the people are suffering and these governors don't care. So
under the guise of the state has a surplus. And that's the thing, because we got money from the federal government, the Freedom Rescue Plan, or the rescue plan that we got money from the federal government. The governor's boasting about a surplus, but yet still he's not distributing the monies.
But it's not really a surplus. It's because he's not spending money that he's supposed to spend.
Exactly. That's my point. He's boasting a surplus, but the surplus is really because he's not distributing the money to where it's supposed to go. And not that we're not supposed to get a surplus, but the point is that he's using those numbers to inflate his numbers. And that's an issue. And people need to understand this is not a wealthy conversation. This is not about poor people. This is about the state of Florida. For the entire state. He was elected to take care of everybody. He has chosen, and he's made it very clear that he's only beholden to a few. That is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. He is supposed to represent those who voted for him and those who didn't vote for him. That is a true elected official. But this man has proven over and over and over again, every press conference, every meeting, he is only beholden to a few. The governor's race is this year. We are in the midst of it all. I'm begging you, imploring you. He cannot continue to retain his position at all.
And he really don't want it, because he's gonna leave in 2 years anyway. So even if he wins, he's straight up about to start campaigning, and whoever his attorney, his lieutenant governor is, will be the governor. Most people don't even know who that is, what they do, what they about. They can't be no better.
I'm just saying. Listen, let's put it in real terms. Let's put it in like real dire terms. We are in dire straits in this state. And if we continue with the same governor, it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get any better. We want it to get better. He will give you the illusion that things.
No, he's not giving no impressions that he's going to make life better for.
I'm just saying.
All the residents of the state of Florida. He's not giving that illusion. No, he's not even trying to give you that impression. He helping who he want to help, and he's like, screw the rest.
y'all need to go out and vote. And I mean that with
And vote
every
blue.
fiber of my being. I'm just saying.
So
So
keep up that blue energy. Stacey Abrams is running for governor in the state of Georgia, and I don't want to act like I'm not gonna say I ain't worried because she got it in the bag. Well, you know, you don't want to be comfortable, and we don't want the voters of Georgia to think like, oh no, Stacey got it in the bag. I don't need to do nothing because she got this. No, y'all all need to go and make it real clear and make it be no question. Absolutely. That she got that. Make it like it gotta be undisputed. What is it? Indisputable or undisputable? Whatever the word is. Indisputable.
Refutable.
If that's a word, she needs to indisputably win.
That's it. And she needs to win.
No more no recounts, no this, no that, no none of that. No, it needs to be clear. Like ain't no way you about to make up no ground, homie.
And that goes for Warnock. That go for Warnock too, because we can't have Herschel come up in there and just be like sitting there causing and wreaking havoc. We can't.
Let me tell y'all something. If Georgia, if y'all crazy enough, okay, to let Herschel Walker be your representative in the U.S. Senate from the state of Georgia, all that beauty from 2020 was in vain.
In vain. In vain.
And Marcus Flowers is running against Marjorie Taylor Greene. Y'all need to send that brother up there too. I mean, that's a little bit harder because he's in a very Republican area, but there's folks from out of the state that's sending money to his campaign. So he does have money for people to know who he is because I almost live here and I know who he is. So
listen,
every Democrat over there, any independent, support that brother because that lady is at work with no committee assignment, so she's doing nothing. She's over here starting mess. Talking about 1776 and lying about it.
Doing something. She's on a podcast with the gentleman with the person who has been accused of pedophilia from Florida.
Gates from Florida. I think he's up for re-election too. So North Florida, what y'all doing? Y'all gonna send that man back to work?
You gonna send that man who's trafficking teenagers across state lines for sexual favors?
I think his bestie in prison. His bestie is serving time too. The clerk of the court or whatever the guy was.
Y'all wanna be coming for people's past and all that. Well, that's not even his past. That's part of his present.
That's his present.
So, that's his present. This is somebody who's in office currently supposed to be representing y'all, but he's trafficking teenagers across state lines. I'm just saying, it's all out there. We ain't making up stuff, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, when we look at other states, because it's important, because it affects us all, right? Because we're in this nation, and I think
there's a sister running for governor in Alabama too. Can't remember her name.
Those names. We're gonna bring up
those names. So. I knew it when I was there, but it's not coming to me right now. But we need to keep up that momentum from 2020. We were listening to something and they're saying like sometimes that might have just been like people were just, and usually the when the president is on the ballot, it is more turnout. It really is a lot more turnout because people are always worried about the president, but the midterms are just as important. They're just as important, and they do make a difference.
It's not more important because things can't, the president can do things, but things can't move unless there's some movement in the Senate. And
because we have checks and balances. We have three equal co-government bodies, and you need all of them to do something in order for things to work, right?
Just as important.
And clearly, we got a Supreme Court that's on some other stuff. But then we need like a legislator. We need the legislative branch to kind of hold them accountable or kind of fix what they messed up. So, people are talking about codifying Roe v. Wade. We need them to codify the John Lewis voting rights bill. We need them to codify criminal justice reform. Because if we leave that up to the court, that's going to be some more trash. ASS stuff.
All day, every day.
That's going to be trash AF. If y'all leave it up, if y'all let any decisions go to them. I'm just for real.
Listen, so we implore you. We are pushing voting. It's important.
Voting blue is important.
I don't know how else to tell you. Vote blue. We're not telling you no matter who now. We just saying vote blue.
Yes.
That's all. All right. So the next thing that's item for us to see. So Sesame Place is a place in Pennsylvania.
that have all the Sesame Street characters.
Yeah, have all the Sesame Street characters. I think there's like it's a theme park. The families bring their children there to hang out. There's stuff to do, play, and I think there's like a water park, because I went on their Instagram to see what was going on with them. Anywho, something happened recently where a parent had an awful experience with one of the characters, and the parent proceeded to state that this was racially motivated. And so I'm going to show you the first video of what the parent is saying and why they said that it was racially motivated, and then we'll come back and talk about it, and then we'll talk to let you know that why it's racially motivated, because apparently this was not an isolated incident at this particular theme park in Pennsylvania. So we are going to get that on there, and then we are going to play it. I could. Oh, wait a minute.
That character waved no to that kid, to those kids. Waved no.
So the two little beautiful Black queens that were there, our princesses, were raising their hands. And let me tell you something. I mean, you've taken your kids to Disney.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, and we've been to Disney where the characters are out there in the parade, trying to interact with the kids, not interact with the kids. Anyway, my initial thing when I saw it, I was like, I don't know if I want to say it's racially motivated. I'm not sure. But it was since grabbed by celebrities, grabbed by influencers on Instagram, TikTok. I mean, it's been that one video went viral. And so when that one video went viral, then 20 more popped up the next day. And I mean, I literally,
because it could have been an isolated incident. You know what I'm saying? It could have been an isolated incident.
And I was going to hey, I'm not sure. Then the next day, at least 20 videos, same spot. No, not same spot. Same theme park. Same hue of babies being disrespected. I mean, there is even a video of somebody in a Big Bird. Hugs and things, the white kids, and slaps a child in the face, slaps a Black kid in the face. Like, all I'm saying is these legislators are giving us all a hard time about critical race theory and how they don't want their kids to feel uncomfortable and how, something that may or may not happen in the past, but yet still children, babies are exposed and I'm
being traumatized.
And
because you imagine as a parent, you probably saved money either all summer, all year, worked hard to take your kid to have this experience.
Okay.
For this person to slap their hand away. Because you saw the little girl, like you could tell she was extremely disappointed and confused at the same time about what just happened.
And so you as a Black parent, you go through all of these things, you get your kids to go, you do all these things or whatever, and you see your child deliberately being dismissed, right? And then
all that joy off their face is just because they were right there in the front. The character just passed them. There's no reason why they should not have given them a high five or something.
You high-fived everybody up until them.
And then he says no.
No.
Girl.
Then you told the babies no. Okay. Now there's another video out there. You can just go on, put in Sesame Place in any kind of video platform, and you'll see it. There's another video out there where there's another character coming with his hands up to a toddler walking up, like how somebody's playing basketball and they're trying to block somebody or whatever, knocks the child over. Another Black child. Okay. There's another video where the same character in another spot of the park was waving and whatever, and then the mother, you can clearly hear the mother say, "You see how they keep skipping us? You see how they keep skipping us?" The husband says, "Well, why don't you move over there?" She's like, "No, I'm not gonna go over there. What am I doing? What am I doing that for? If they're just gonna continue to keep skipping us?" And it was video, after video after video after video. Joy
And the
Reid.
reason why there's video and video after video is because these parents were recording what they thought was going to be a beautiful moment and some moment of joy for their child so they can share it later, and it turned out to be that.
But
you recording it because you know your kids all excited, you know, because people don't just go there for like, they go there for the kids, and the kids are all excited about going because these are the characters that help them learn how to count to 10 and learn their alphabet and all of this stuff. So they're thinking it's going to be a very pleasant experience, and that's why their phones are out. It's not trying to be, it's not a gotcha situation.
Right.
They were recording what they thought was going to be a joyful moment, and then now they got a memory of all the pain on their kid's face that they probably won't even show the kid again.
And the fact that Sesame Place came out with a statement initially, basically saying, no, that's not what you saw. You know,
don't believe your lying eyes.
Sometimes they can't see. That wasn't done deliberately. We don't do that here. And then Black Twitter got hold of it, and Black Instagram had got hold of it. And let me tell you something. You know, say what you want to say about cancel culture, but when Black people come through to give you a hard time,
sometimes it's not always cancel culture. It's accountability culture.
That's what it is.
It's accountability culture. Ain't nobody trying to cancel you. They're trying to hold you accountable for what it is you're doing. It's accountability culture.
And when they were flooded with messages, me included, about the unacceptable, because I don't know, most of the comments were like, who's doing y'all PR, because y'all coming out with because they were
to act like these Black people just making stuff up, always dismiss it, acting like we don't know what we know, and we didn't feel what we feel, and we didn't experience what we experienced,
minimizing our pain.
It all, like, oh no, you guys are just taking this out of control, this is that stuff. Like, no.
So, you know, so we didn't just stop at Sesame Place, we went to Sesame Street. Okay, so let me just be clear. Sesame Street and Sesame Place, they're really not affiliated. Sesame Place is owned by SeaWorld. Yes, that's who they
probably what happens is that they probably licensed the right to use those characters.
They did license the right, and they do collaborate, but they don't own that place, right? So Sesame Street came out with a whole statement, and they basically was like, yeah, we just
well, they can say that all they want. What they need to do is like they should cancel that licensing. It should have been some sort of part of that agreement that y'all can't be out in these streets making us look bad since we out here for the kids.
I totally agree.
So if you really want to say or do something or show that you ain't about that, you don't support what they're doing, then you need to cancel that licensing. I'm sure there's going to be some sort of financial consequence, but that contract should have had a morality clause in there. There's like people that lose their contracts over all kind of simple stuff because what their value, they've exhibited something that's inconsistent with the value of the brand that they're representing.
The
brand look bad, then y'all should have a way to get out of that deal.
The brand was specifically created for marginalized children, to the group of kids that don't get that brand. Sesame Street was specifically created for Black children. It was specifically created for that. Do your history, go do your research, and you all will see that specific Sesame Street brand, the whole thing was created for us, for our children. And for you to have a licensing group that has that, and for you to snub, traumatize, make kids cry, all of that, and then come back and say, and then after they were flooded with messages after their first message they sent out, then they want to backpedal and say, oh, we're going to do some training.
That's crazy. And we're coming back to this whole training stuff because we talked a little bit about that in the beginning too, right? Mm-hmm. And so this whole training stuff, like now that's starting to just be like some BS, right? Because half the time they're getting trained by people who kind of feel the same way they do. So what difference does that make? Let me come train them, okay? That's what listen, let me come train them. For you to go get another person that probably that's not even aware themselves of their own implicit biases. Because yes, we all know the words. We do all understand that there should be some sort of self-awareness or whatever. But there's some people who think they really are self-aware and they're not. And they're out here training folks. No, y'all need to really... When you talk about this training, it can't be none of that in-house people. And I'm not saying that white people can't train other white people on like how to not be racist and stuff like that. But sometimes they kind of, it shouldn't be white people training other white people on this stuff, because at the same time they are going to try to care about their feelings a little more than they should. Because there's some times where some people need to get it raw, not in a traumatic way, but that all trying to continue to be sensitive of that person's feeling when they were so insensitive to someone else. You need to really hear it like how it is, right?
Absolutely.
I was gonna say something about like the school board, because I remember I saw some meeting that they had, and I think they do this like courageous conversation thing or something like that with the school board. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how I got to see a meeting and the people that was running that or running it. I'm like, oh, okay, y'all ain't found nobody black to do that.
And I think that is, I think that is really key, that when you're doing implicit bias training, cultural training, whatever,
bring in some cultures.
Bring in some cultures, people to make that happen. And to me, I feel like most, if not all, organizations are now falling back to this. Oh, we're going to do some training, some sensitivity training, and I feel like that is just now has become just a crutch to kind of placate everyone else and say, okay, we see that there's a problem. We're going to fix it by doing some training. And Black people basically said, unacceptable. Not enough.
The training is trash. The training is trash because it ain't no training for real. And I remember, so like right after George Floyd happened, there were some companies that said they were going to be, and I don't want to call no company names. I don't want to call. So there were some companies that, oh no, we're going to have some training and this and that, whatever. I know some people that worked for at least one of those companies that's supposed to have training. They're like, please, they gave us 4 hours off. they're like, we ended up with 4 hours off. And then another person that works for a different company, they was like, yeah, they gave us 2 hours off and told us to watch this video. So,
but that in essence, that's what the trainings are looking like. They're not really trainings. And my thing is that stop trying to tell Black people that y'all gonna fix something when y'all have no intentions of fixing it. That's number one. And you don't get to disrespect children and make children and traumatize babies, right? And then turn around and give us garbage to feed. You give us garbage to
lip service, y'all.
We don't do lip service. We're tired of lip service. All we do is get lip service. We tired of hearing about implicit bias training. We tired of hearing about cultural training.
Yeah, bring in the culture. Bring in the cultures. I'm not saying just not bring in Black. Bring somebody Black, Hispanic, Asian. Somebody
we are out there.
Bring them people in. Now you can have a white moderator if you want to, but you need to bring in the people that are out there about the things that are being said.
We are out here and we're ready to train. We are out here. We are out here. So stop. Don't give us lip service or whatever, and then be just doing some, half ass whatever.
And you have the ones that's coming giving you some historical. The history ain't that ain't what we talking about.
Don't come and tell us that. Don't do that.
I can read a book myself.
We already know. We know our history. We understand it. We understand it. The question is, you understand it.
And then even if you are going to give a history, mind you, people will have a different perspective on that. We were actually having that conversation after one of the panels, the judge panels we saw, so now we're like low-key stalkers on these candidates and panels and stuff like that, right? So we watch way more than the average person does. Trust me when I tell you, right? Because I be like, that ain't what they said at the last one, but okay, so right. So we're watching this panel, and this one attorney, and I don't want to say the culture because I don't want to. Again, people might be able to figure out who I'm talking about. They were talking about how they presented a narrative. Well, it's their story, and it's their truth about how their father was a champion for Black folks, and that's pretty much how they told the story. They're like, other people wouldn't help them, and my dad was a champion, and he did this for Black folks, and basically saying Black people should be happy because he did all this, right? Now if they go and ask some Black folks that same story, they may have a different perspective, and many of them do. They're like, nah, they would see it. Some of them will see it as, no, that person came into the community and basically took advantage of us because they know we didn't have any other options. Okay. There's two sides to that story. So, and I'm not saying that person's version of how they saw it isn't true. It's true to them, but to not even acknowledge that there's a possibility that the Black people who you thought you was champion thinks that you were exploiting them is part of like why you just can't have one person, one perspective doing this training, because you need to be able to see how the other side may interpret what was happening, right? And I'm saying there's many folks who are like, nope, them people come into the community and they exploit us and take advantage of us because they don't know, they know that we don't really have a lot of other options and there were other places for us to go, right? Just like corner stores, for instance. I grew up in the hood, and there were some corner stores. They would sell stuff in the corner store double what you would get it at a Walmart or a place like that, because a lot of the folks there didn't have transportation. They couldn't go nowhere to get it cheaper, so they ended up having to go pay $7 for some peanut butter, when if they could have gone to Winn-Dixie or wherever to get it, it would have been like $2.50. So that person may be like, see, I'm providing something in your neighborhood that you don't have for yourself. And the people in the neighborhood like, no, you're exploiting me and taking advantage of me by charging me triple what that thing really costs.
Hello. I'm just saying, don't get what black people basically, what black people are saying, we don't do lip service. We don't want that. So Sesame Place, whatever you think you need to do, what you put out so far is not acceptable. It's not.
And part of what you have to do is fire that person. You can train them, but they should not be able to work for you no more.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
That was intentional.
And all them other 20 videos that came out.
And then you can find other people to get in that costume. That ain't no hard job. I'm not, some jobs is hard to replace, folks, but that one can't possibly be that hard to replace.
Not in my opinion. So our final thing before we let you go. Yeah, we over now, but I just want to give one final clip that is so amazing. It is Moms Against Greg Abbott.
That's another one of them governors that gotta go. In Texas, that dude is out there ruining y'all life, talking about, especially if you're a Roe v. Wade person. This man talking about like it's that conception. Y'all playing. Beto is running for governor in Texas. Y'all better consider that. Not consider that. Y'all better do that. Get Abbott out of there and put Beto in.
Let me tell you. So let me let you see this group of organizations.
Governor races are important. My mic was muted. Sorry. Yeah. But you're about to show the video though, right?
Yeah. So let me show you the video of this group. That's called Mothers Against Greg Abbott. And then we will round it out with that.
Till it does. They say nothing changes in Texas politics until it does.
Till it does. Till the Texas power grid failed and our families froze without water and electricity.
Until white Texas politicians removed our history from the classroom.
Till they made it legal to buy a gun without a permit and openly carry it.
Till Texas politicians put a $10,000 bounty on anyone who helped a woman get an abortion.
Till we were called child abusers for loving and supporting our transgender children.
Till Texas school boards banned books by Black and LGBTQ authors.
Till our loved ones died when Texas politicians fought mask and vaccine mandates during the worst pandemic in over 100 years. We want real change for Texas.
Now.
Before history repeats itself.
And we're ready to fight. We live in suburbs.
In big cities.
And on farms and ranches. We are mothers. We are mothers.
We are the Mothers Against Greg Abbott.
Let's make Texas a safe place where all families can thrive again.
We are mothers against Greg Abbott.
Okay. So you on mute.
It's serious when they gotta do a whole pack. Talk about like, listen, that's how ridiculous this dude is. You out, brother. Listen.
Them mama
says you have a whole pack. Mothers Against Greg Abbott. Bruh, you doing a terrible job.
Listen, and you saw
each terrible job, sir.
Each mama broke down what's going on, honey. That mama was like,
and then like, here are the reasons why we're against him. They got a whole list. Dude,
They're
you're
not
not
playing.
good at your job.
And they broke down their demographics. They're like, we live in the city, we live
And
in
the
the
crazy
suburbs.
thing is, they could have said more. Isn't that amazing that they actually could have gave more examples of reasons why he's a horrible governor?
I'm just saying,
I tell
people, listen, your vote matters. Okay,
it does. If it didn't, they really wouldn't be trying so hard to make you not be able to do it. And we're gonna have a show where we really gonna let loose. Because I think I gotta remind Black people of how powerful they are. Because sometimes y'all be forgetting.
Yeah.
Because imagine, so we were gonna end on that, but imagine Mary McLeod Bethune is in the sanctuary. Black people made that happen. Okay.
Listen,
Black people made that happen. Y'all stop.
Magic.
Y'all,
you know what I'm saying? Like
y'all don't understand the power. Okay,
y'all don't understand
the obstacles that's against you. Mary McLeod Bethune is in Statuary Hall.
You better talk about the extraordinary people of that are the Black people.
That happens with all kind of obstacles in our way, and then that still happened. So stop acting like y'all ain't powerful. That's why they scared y'all.
Telling you, hey, they ain't got nothing on Black people with a plan.
Not a now.
I'm just saying.
We survive all kind of situations.
Listen, and not only do we survive, we persevere, and we ain't seeking for revenge. We just trying to live our lives. Okay, so listen, I wanted you all to see, how the moms over there in Texas was like, oh yeah, we have had enough. Okay, Beto is on
the ballot for governor of Texas.
Proven over again that he is the servant of the people. Y'all don't speak on Beto like that now.
When Ted Cruz was dipping trying to go to Mexico with his kids, Beto was the one that was there trying to get water and stuff and help these folks out that were freezing to death, okay? And that wasn't, he didn't even have to do that. He did not have to do that.
Ted Cruz told everybody in Texas, like, while y'all freezing, I'm gonna go here to Mexico and thaw out myself. I don't really care what's going on.
He was going to Cancun.
He sure did leave y'all in the dust. So, and
his wife thought they had real good friends that put him on blast.
Him and
trying to blame his kids, right? Remember, like it was not even. He was trying to blame his kids.
He threw his babies under the bus. You want somebody like that representing y'all? Whatever. Listen, you need to vote like your life depended on it. Every state we mentioned today, y'all need to vote like your life depends on it because
Florida. Y'all have the ability to do some amazing things this election cycle. Please do all of it.
All of it.
Y'all Demons for U.S. Senate. Y'all are honorists for Attorney General. Nikki Fried or Charlie Crist for governor. We can't really say, which one.
Can't really say one of them. One or the other. Because
in District 20, y'all got some choices. Sheila Shefferlis McCormick, who is the current congresswoman. Dale Holness, if you think he shouldn't have lost by 5 votes. Anika Onfroy, she just decided to come in the race somehow. She was actually she's state rep for District 95. So she's a state
95 or 96. I think it was 90. No, it's not 95. It's 96. It's 96.
Okay, so it's probably 96.
One that
I don't know. So if it's 95, that's what it is. Huh?
Okay. I think Manley was running for 95.
Okay, so that one.
And we have county commissioners on the ballot. We have judicial candidates on the ballot. Down ballot candidates are important too. We have school board members on the ballot. We've done some videos with them. If you want to go back and look on our page and take some time to look at these videos and listen to these people, see if they mesh with how you feeling or whatever.
And the Sun Sentinel don't always get it right.
They sure don't.
Because Raymond Adderley should have been the person for that at-large seat, is all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say that.
Listen, there's a lot of endorsements flying all over the place, and sometimes those endorsements are not endorsements for the people. Sometimes
there's stuff behind it. There's stuff behind it that sometimes folks don't know.
It is what it is. All right, y'all. So next week we're gonna have a rerun because I'm gonna be out of town. Yeah. But the week after, we are trying to get one of the gubernatorial candidates to come on, and we're working on that. Hopefully, we'll know something soon. We'll put out something on our page if we do.
Once we get that score, once we score that interview.
Yeah, once we score that interview, it's gonna be if it happens, it's gonna be a good one.
It's good.
It's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be like, we moving on up.
All right. So y'all listen, COVID is still out there. There's some new variants.
It is. Folks are testing positive for COVID.
New variants. Make sure you please wear your mask when possible, as well as get vaccinated. There is, I believe, the vaccine.
We can't tell people to get vaccinated. They're like, be safe. We can tell you to get your mask, but we can't tell you to do that.
Well, consider getting vaccinated. How about that? Is that better? Consider.
Do what works for you. If you don't want to, at least wear your mask and be safe and social distance and
a little
hand sanitizer and all that stuff.
I think the federal government stated that the vaccines will no longer be free after a certain time. I think
they've been giving it to y'all free for 2 years. Like at this point, it's like
I think August or September.
Unless you're a kid that's coming of age and now you can get it, that's probably why you didn't get it. But if you my age and you ain't get it yet, then they make you pay for it. It sounds like
I think the free vaccinations will stop. I think it's August and September. So if you haven't done it and you're thinking about doing it, try to get it done before then. If that's something you want to do, please continue to wear your mask. We also are dealing with monkeypox. Just be careful with that. I think we were at 72 cases here in the state of Florida. I'm not sure if that has risen yet. But the two highest states that have high numbers are California and New York. So if you're traveling to those areas, please be safe. And we will see you all on the flip side in August. We'll see you guys back in August. Okay.
It sounds like it's far, but it ain't that far from now. It's just a week, 2 weeks.
It really isn't. And plus, you all are in the summer, and everybody's doing different.
Everybody should be getting on vacation because them kids gonna be going back to school in 3 weeks, and they got some demands. I'm sure they want you to take them somewhere.
Take if you're here in Florida, enjoy the beaches while you can, while there's no rain. Take them to the water park, whatever. Get them tired. All right, see y'all.
Bye bye.